Alright, so just an update following on from my last video. So I'll just describe how life is appearing to me at the moment. So I'm into my sport, and sorry if you can't see, by the way, it's night time. Yeah, I'm into my sports, and there's a term that's talked about in sports performance and psychology, called being in the zone or the flow state or whatever, and high level athletes talk about, or recreational athletes, sports people talk about this, entering this state of consciousness where the sport has been so well practiced and you enter a almost automated state of being where the characteristics of it are heightened focus, entirety of your being focused in the present moment, a feeling of things just happening automatically without having to think about them or without there being an agent or a person doing it, complete effortlessness because the action's happening by itself, extreme focus and expansiveness, ease, feeling like the world's moving in slow motion. And this very much explains or describes my experience at the moment. So everything is just happening. There's no effort. It's completely effortless. Everything's just appearing in the moment, and it's as if it's happening itself. There's no constructed narrative around I'm the person thinking that I'm going to do this and then doing this and then thought, consideration, action. There's none of that. It's just happening. It's just happening, and it's the and there's no resistance in it. There's no resistance in it. It just flows. Much like I'm about to flow into the cyclist in my car. There we go. Yeah, it just flows. It's automatic. It's just the universe and form unfolding as it unfolds without the effort, without the narrative, without the illusions that are added on constructs that don't need to be there, the ones that create the contraction and create the effort. Talking about effort, these electric bicycles are mad. They're very fast. It's sidetracked here. Yeah, they're just unusually quick. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. And then the same with the thing about it is as well is it's not resisting the thought, not resisting the person. The person is still there. The thought happens, but it's in the same way that everything else happens. The attachment isn't there. The sense that this thought is me, this action is me, this body is me. It's all still there, but it's experienced in a completely different way. And the thoughts just happen. The thoughts just happen, just like everything else is happening. And it's, like I said, it's effortless. It just flows, instantaneous. And it's not like it's like everything is happening in the present. Like before, it'd be like I'm meditating, I'm moving my attention into the present moment. Now it just is the present moment, and everything's arising right now, instantaneously, without the effort of that paradigm, that constructed narrative. Immediately, without resistance. It's just like it's like this person is being animated by the universe and is being moved by the universe. The universe is doing its thing, and the person's doing its thing, and it's like it's the person has become the universe, and the universe is meditating to itself through the person, and there's no resistance from the person. It's like a transcendence of everything, but also the opposite. Like an inclusion of everything into the state of presence, without omitting any aspect of anything, without denying reality, without denying aspects of the self, no denying, just acceptance. And the effortlessness is indescribable. Even things like things that things that I wouldn't normally be conscious of, like habits that you subconsciously form. I'm going to go into the concepts of things, like checking my wing mirrors, like something that you might not usually be consciously aware of, because you just do it automatically. I'm completely aware of them, but aware of them not in the sense like memory, because you start to realise that things are coded into memory instantly, and a lot of your experience of the world is just like a short-term memory wave that just kind of is like a tracer that goes behind the experience, the direct experience of this, and the forecast, a thought-based forecast that goes directly in front of, ahead of this, based on memory again of what your concepts of your experience of this reality are based on, if that makes sense. Now there's no delay, it's just instant. It's not even instant, it's just happening. And I keep saying this, it's really so simple. It's so simple, and the deepening levels of insight, deepening levels of awakening post initial shift are just more of the construct of the self starting to fall away, starting to be seen through, but it doesn't have to be resisted. You don't have to it just has to be exposed and become transparent. And a lot of the stumbling blocks I was coming up against were resistance of the self, resistance of my idea of who I was and what I was, the form of striving towards a solution to a question, a problem that was created by the self. It was entirely irrelevant from the point of view of enlightenment. So it's right here. Infinite. This is the infinite all the time. All the time, beyond time. And it was the resistance was not wanting to let go. Not wanting to let go. It was kind of just habit, really. It was just an automatic response. It seemed very potent. Habitual constructions that were just more comfortable to operate or experience reality through that construction, that interpretation, that lens. It seemed to be more comfortable than really letting go. But that sense of comfort is another effort, another exertion. It's not lasting if you know what I mean. So if I was to describe the process for the self, it would be instantaneously just this. The infinite is right here, not separate to this form. Is this form. The mind isn't comfortable with paradox, so the mind doesn't have to understand. Always right here, always just this. Always clarity of being, clarity of awareness. Aware intelligence and curiosity from the point of view of the person as to what is the true nature of this, but not so much in a question of the mind. In fact, not in a question of the mind at all. Attention, awareness, clarity, being, right now, not of the mind, in this precise present moment that is infinite. And in this precise present space that isn't a space. And that's all you need, because it's right here. It doesn't have to be learned. I remember describing the non-dual paradox when I was younger, when I was in my early teens, and it wasn't something I learned. It was something that I'd been pondering about. And how did I know that? It wasn't something I'd read or something I'd heard or learned. It was something that my mind had constructed. In an attempt to understand my experience of reality. And it didn't take me having to go and research about anything like this. Because all we need to move towards awakening is direct experience of our reality with that aware intelligence that is beyond the person, that manifests itself through the person in this world of form. And then you can have the 24/7 flow state experience of being in the zone all the time and relaxing, because things are just happening for themselves and you don't have to control it. You don't have to exert that needless effort in an attempt to try and manipulate reality into a shape that suits you. It suits an ultimately finite, you could describe as fictional construction person that can ultimately never be satisfied through absolute identification. And the urgency, the neediness of the identified self is an exertion, it's a massive drain of energy, an accumulated tense experience that is uncomfortable. And that's what I noticed about the people that helped me, guided me, and are helping and guiding me now that I'm talking to online, that are awakened beings themselves, that have had this shift. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. But what I noticed is that there was no urgency, there was no, you need to understand this, no urgency, no pushiness. There was prompting, but without that attachment to, you need to understand this point of view, because it's not a point of view, and they understand that ultimately it doesn't matter. They're not invested in me waking up. But yet they're motivated to take the time to help share their experiences in moving the universe and this world towards awakening. But you can see that that urgency, that neediness, that investment in outcomes just isn't there. In fact, it's a trap. It's a trap in the mind to revive that attachment to the self. And I would say a good bit of advice that would be to just relax and just just practice and enjoy practice, and don't be invested in having to wake up, having to have these insights, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, then it's not yet. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. I think I'm gonna maybe shift the focus of these videos going forward into more practical insight or inquiry or meditation techniques that all the 2 people that watch these videos might, or anyone who watches them might find helpful and useful, because it really isn't in the theorizing and the mind forms, and it really is in the practice. By practice, I mean right here, right now, your direct experience of reality. Dive into it. Be in that delicate focus, that delicate, attentive awareness. It kind of is like, I would maybe describe it in a sense like walking a tightrope. In the beginning, walking a razor's edge, a delicate, fine balance. And then at a certain point, it's a beam, and then the beam turns into a tightrope, and the tightrope turns into a razor's edge, and then at one point the razor's edge just vanishes, and then you're falling, you're just floating about, and there's no moving forwards, there's no going from here to there, there's no balance, there's just this, and that's it. Then the need for the seeking just starts to, and the need for these constructions that you practice to deconstruct. You're like making the tools that you use to deconstruct something. And then once you've deconstructed the thing, then the tools are of no need anymore. But here we go, that'll do for now.